How do you think most major mangas get greenlit for publication? Like, what are some of the things that just pop in your head when you think about it? Nepotism? Well, yeah, I'm sure that that's alive and well. Manga and anime, just like any other pieces of media, are sure to have people pushing their kids to be the forefront of the new generation. That kind of thing just makes sense. Maybe they get their works greenlit based off their previous work. Well, yeah, I would say this is a good avenue on where you should place your bets at. If one mangaka already made a manga that is a huge success, it's gonna be a no-brainer for their next project just to be greenlit automatically. But what about those mangakas that haven't even dipped their toes in? Like, maybe at most, they've released a few doujinshis. They have no real exposure in the industry. How are they supposed to break through and become big? Well, that's gonna be with a very important part in the manga creation process, called the one-shot. Hi, I'm Bayfond, and I'm a guy that has read a shit ton of one-shots. And if you're unsure about what a one-shot is, I think it's pretty literal to what its name is. It is a one-issue manga. Kind of like how in television, there's a pilot episode that's shopped around to different studios. The one-shot is made to show what potential a story might have. And to be completely honest with you, a lot of your favorite stories probably started with a one-shot. The first that come to my head are things like Komi-san and Quintessential Quintuplets. These were made in order to see how many people are gonna be interested in the main story. But it doesn't mean that if it becomes popular, that the author is gonna adapt it one for one from the original source material. Let's take, for example, the Komi-san one-shot. In this one, it laid out the relationship that Komi and Tadano have, but it kind of makes Komi into a completely different character. Instead of being the Komi-san that we're all familiar with that can barely even get a word out, she's the kind of person that's just more awkward, that in the presence of someone else in front of her, she can't speak, but when they're not looking at her, she can like mouth off a million words per minute, which I would say is quite the big difference in her character. I mean, if we went with this version of Komi-san, we would have probably headed towards a completely different kind of story, along with the fact that she ran over Tadano with a bike. Can't forget about that one. Ugh, rest in peace. And for Quintessential Quintuplets, all of the sisters had pretty different designs, except for like one of them. But you can easily tell, if you've already finished the manga, that Negi already had the entire story planned out. The only thing that was gonna change was the journey to get there. But these two one-shots are examples of stories that picked up enough traction that got them published. Now, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of one-shots that have been released that have never been picked up by the big, like, shonen magazines. And this is because, well, one-shot competitions are held quite frequently. Maybe because a story got axed, there's a hiatus going on, or maybe all of the manga inside of a magazine are ending. Every once in a while, manga publishers need to bring in new blood. So what better thing to do than to bring in just a metric fuck ton of mangakas to show off their best work, to see which click with the readers the most. I could go down the list and name off the one-shots that were never able to become full-on mangas, but honestly, I think that's better suited for a different video. There are way too many good stories out there that people have just been missing out on. But I would say that this is what one-shots are mostly used for. This is their current purpose in the mainstream anime manga sphere. But there's also a different side to the one-shot as well. And this is with a one-shot being a self-contained story. Not looking to get any publication, not looking for any extra like benefits or stuff like that, just a story told beginning to end in one issue. And to be completely honest, this is the type of one-shot that interests me the most. Mainly because you can tell that if a story is gonna be just coming out as a one-shot, that this is gonna be polished. It's something that the author thinks can stand on its own, and it's usually filled with so much love and care. And the best part about this kind of one-shot is that everyone tries their hand in this. I would say the most prominent mangaka nowadays that participates in this kind of one-shot is Fujimoto, like the creator of Fire Punch and, well, you know, Chainsaw Man. His one-shots are absolutely brilliant. Don't Look Back and Goodbye Eri are some of the best stories that I have ever read, period. And I'm not alone in thinking so, because these are some of his most critically acclaimed works. If we just look at these two works without looking at his mainstream stuff, you can see that this has won so many awards that he could just slap these on a portfolio and people would automatically take him seriously as a mangaka. They are just that good. Seriously, anytime that it's announced that Fujimoto's gonna release another one-shot, I completely get strapped in and ready for the ride. I'm probably not gonna miss out on any one of his stories. But it's not just limited to, you know, famous big name name mangakas that are gonna make one-shots. No, this can go all the way to like, you know, lower level, maybe just like Twitter grade creators as well. Stuff like Son of Goblin, which is like a few pages long, is able to show you the beginnings of an amazing world and story. It's a nice little what if in this dark fantasy genre. And one-shots of the romance genre litter the entire internet space with things like I Have Always Loved You and the story of reuniting with a childhood friend. These are some of the less popular one-shots that are out there that have just stuck with me for whatever reason. No matter if they're heartbreaking, heartwarming, or exciting, it's just a full story that you can just enjoy. You don't need any context and you can just jump right in. The power of the one-shot means that you can make a story about literally anything. It can be funny, it can be serious, it can be dark, it can be light. There are no limits to this story. And I think that allows for some freedom and creativity that a lot of mangakas strive for. And this kind of medium allows for some pretty touching stories that you probably wouldn't see otherwise. I remember reading the one-shot called Hi, I'm Trans, and just being completely baffled by how good it was. Just picking it up one random day on a whim and then being just met with a gorgeous story about someone coming out to their family and then just having just a heartwarming moment just resonating with these characters. That's one of the best things about a one-shot. You don't know what to expect. Reading this, I could have gotten a tragedy, something that could have spiraled into Oyasumi Pum Pum levels, but I was met with something that was just the opposite, and I'm glad that I read it. The main reason that I'm making this video right now is because I plan to further on talk about more one-shots. Whenever I read one that catches my eye, I want to showcase it. Talk about what makes it so good. Because I think that this kind of storytelling has merits that normal serialized manga might not be able to have. So with this, I'm going to keep scouring the interwebs to find some more one-shots and more stories for me to enjoy. And as always, I was Bayfond. I hope I'll see you guys next time, and peace.